Journaling is basically the act of recording your thoughts and feelings by jotting them down on a daily basis. This art has been around for hundreds of years now and has been used by most people as a means to relieve stress and express themselves. One of the most popular journals is that one by Samuel Pepys, a naval administrator in the 1600s, who made it a point to write down what happened in his lifetime, from his personal feelings to important events that not only affected him, but affected the world as well. These events included the Anglo-Dutch War, the restoration of the English monarchy, and even the Great Fire and the Great Plague of London. Now, a library in Cambridge is named after him. And then there's also Anne Frank's diary, which is aptly called the Diary of a Young Girl. In it, she recorded the things that she experienced when she and her family were forced into hiding because of the Nazi invasion. More so, the diary became a reflection of how she felt during those times, from her frustrations, sadness, pain, and even the big and small things that made her happy and made her forget about everything that's been going on, even for just a little bit. Her diary is now one of the most famous diaries ever created and has inspired legions of people everywhere. Journaling is also an act of self-exploration. When you get your thoughts down and when you get to express yourself, you realize that there are still a lot of things that you don't actually know about yourself, and that there's also a lot more that you can learn about life on Earth. There are a lot of people who are not easily comfortable when it comes to sharing their thoughts with others. Even if you ask them to see a therapist or a counselor, they still find it hard to express themselves. And that's why most of them just choose to keep a journal and write their thoughts down there, because they know that no one will judge them, and that with the company of their journals, they can finally be themselves. For some, it's also a means of recording what they have learned, just like early scientists and researchers did. These days, journaling is not only exclusive to writing down on paper. There are people who are more comfortable to use blogs as a means of expressing themselves. But whatever the medium, what's important is that as a person, you learn how to say what you want to say, and you can do so with the help of journaling. Chapter 2: Elements of a Good Journal. Here's the thing. A journal is not just a journal. Before you can say that you're a good journal writer, there are still a couple of things that you have to keep in mind first. These things will help you understand whether you're actually able to convey what you want to say or not. What to look for in a journal. Here are some of the guidelines and reminders that will help you become the best journal writer that you can be. Number 1, the purpose. First and foremost, you have to ask yourself as to why exactly you are writing the journal, or the certain topic that you're trying to write about. What is it about? What is it for? Who is it for? These questions will help set the tone of your journal entry, as well as the whole journal itself. For every entry, there should be a different topic, so that you won't just talk about the same thing over and over and over again. This way, each of your entries will really have some purpose, and won't just be a reflection of the other. Number 2, the beginning. The first lines that you write should be compelling. Sure, no one might be reading that journal now, but you also have to think of the fact that if people get to read them, how do you think they'd feel? It's important that you get their attention right away so they would keep on reading. Also, the first lines are important because, again, they will set the tone of the entry, and they would and should make people curious. Number 3, transitioning. The way you transition from one paragraph to the next is also important. You have to keep in mind that it's essential to be cohesive and to make sure that your ideas really are connected and have something to do with each other, or else you'll feel confused as to why you wrote them in the first place. Number 4, the body. Gather your thoughts, then proceed to write them down. Number 5, images. It does not necessarily mean that you have to cut pictures from magazines or paste your personal photos on your journal. Well, that could help sometimes, but when one says images, it means that your words should be able to make people imagine. Your words have to make people think and visualize. That's how great stories are. And your journal, while it may not be a novel, is also a way of telling your story to others and to yourself. So you have to make sure that you use the right words and that it won't bore anyone who reads it. Number 6, the conclusion.